And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, October 3rd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome on a Friday. We're glad to have you with us. Coleman and Company, live, spontaneous, and unrehearsed, as we say, and brought to you each Friday at this time by Wilson Bank and Trust. Elvis Huff is with us this morning, representing the bank. Elvis, good morning to you. Nice to have you with us again.
Yes, sir.
You come here periodically, and I want to tell everybody, of course, that you are Vice President, Director of Security and Information. And that covers a lot of territory, I think.
Yes, sir, it does. It does. You know, and I'm always happy to be here, and thank you for having us and having me out. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we always like to come out and just remind folks some different things, some scams and cybersecurity trends. And I was thinking about I was looking yesterday, and a couple of things really stuck out to me. Some things that we see happen a lot, stolen usernames and passwords. Those are used often in attacks, and always recommend folks to get some type of password management service. We see some phishing emails. That's a $10 word to simply say it's, someone gets something that makes them believe it's something real, but it's not. In remote access, we just always remind people to be careful giving remote access even to their phone or computer. And it doesn't matter the brand of the device, whether it's an Apple or Android. And then this one was a new one this year. I say, we hear, we hear this term a lot, artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. I'll keep it simple here, but simply put, that's a new one. We're seeing some attacks. I've gotten some scam calls myself from an artificial intelligence bot. It was pretty obvious to me that it was a bot. It was impersonating. But that one's tricky, Coleman, because they could take my voice here from this radio show. They could take your voice and program that in and make it sound like that, you've called me or something. And just some general ways you could ask, change the subject. Some of those AI bots may not be easy to change the subject as well as a human could if you get something like that.
Well, people certainly need to be aware. You probably got some horror stories that you could share, but maybe this isn't the place for it. But it can get... $1,000 is quite serious to a lot of people, and $100,000 is a lot more serious, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility of that happening and you losing that.
Yes, sir, that's right. We have seen, even $10, $100, you're exactly right. Any monetary loss is always concerning. And I think about some trends, you're exactly right, some horror stories, a real quick one. When you talk with individuals sometimes, we at Wilson Bank, we're never going to ask you to come in and pull out your money and take that to a cryptocurrency ATM or put that into some other account or something like that, to try and fix your account. Mm-hmm. That's just always a good reminder. We have seen those, and nothing particularly against cryptocurrency. Personally, I like it. I think it's a good avenue, but I'm never going to call you up, Coleman, and say, hey, come take some money out of your account. Go put that in a cryptocurrency ATM to fix your account. We wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you just don't do that. Some things that are a little bit unethical, even if you had a good purpose there.
Right.
That's not something a bank normally does.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we've seen the attackers will try and do anything to try and convince you that it's legitimate. I'm not going to call you if you say, hey, Elvis, I've had a problem with my banking on my phone. I'm not going to ask you, well, Coleman, hey, what's your password real quick, or validate your password for me. I'm not going to do that. We would never do that. Our people are not going to do that. And so that's just a good reminder that, if you get a call like that or something, that it's probably going to be a scam.
Now, if somebody gets something that they're suspicious of, do you invite them to call you to go? Can you go over that with them a little bit, help them and reassure them even?
Yes, sir, absolutely. They can always call us, at 1-844-WBT-BANK. That's the easiest way to remember it. Come by any one of our offices. We'll always help people walking in. We see this a lot. People say, hey, I got this call, or this popped up on my phone. It's a bit concerning. Could you look at it? Any of our folks will help, and if they need some assistance, they're going to reach out to my team and others, and we're going to I say jump in. We're not going to ask for remote access to your phone. We're going to work with you and call you and help you to make sure of that. We always encourage everybody to reach out to us if they get something.
Well, speaking of your team, how big is your team?
So great question. Right now, I've got 12, and I've got another one starting here in a couple of weeks. We've got 13 total across cybersecurity, fraud, and identity and access management. I know that's a lot.
Well, it really is, and it just goes to show you how big the problem is that you're growing in your department because of the growth of the need for this.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. It is something that we see a lot of, and just thankful for the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month and identity theft laws that are out there that help us to put some folks away and work with our federal authorities when there's identity theft and things that happen, and so that we're just thankful for that. And it's a growing problem, but we're ready to tackle it.
And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That's always true. As much as we joke about interest rates a lot, I'm not calling you to pull out the money, and I can't promise you an 8% rate on a CD. So,
Elvis, it's always nice to have you, and we appreciate your visit this morning. Elvis Huff, who is Vice President and Director of Security and Information for Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender, still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're 10 minutes after the hour, and he is here this morning, and it is nice to welcome once again Senator Mark Potee.
Good morning, Coleman. What a great day.
We are glad to have you with us, and for once I got here before you did, but you've got a reason, though. It's not an excuse, a reason that you walked in here 2 or 3 minutes after I did this morning. You've been somewhere else.
Yes. So right now, Governor Haslam and Secretary of State Trey Hargett and a lot of people are over at a prayer breakfast done at Cumberland University. And we all know Gary Whitaker, and he's the one that put this on, and he's trying to have like an annual prayer breakfast for Wilson County. So my hat's off to them. They had a great turnout there, and I wanted to be there as long as I could but I said, I'm going to see Coleman right now. So I flew out as fast as I could to get here.
I'd forgotten about this. I would have known you'd have been there, but I had forgotten about it, and I was just hoping we hadn't got our Fridays mixed up. But unless we do otherwise, you're here on the first and third Friday. We'll go ahead and say this right now. 2 weeks from now, it's going to be Wilson Bank and Trust with the whole 30 minutes. So you're coming the following Friday, which will be the fourth Friday in October.
I'll see you in 3 weeks.
All right. But what's on your mind today?
So 2 weeks ago today, I was actually coming in from Israel. And so I'd actually taken a trip to Israel. It wasn't a pleasure trip. The Israeli government had invited several legislators to go and tour Israel to see exactly what's going on. And I was one of them from Tennessee that was chosen to go. There was 5 of us that went. Now, the foreign ministry paid for the trip, so there was no taxpayer money from Tennessee or anything like that. Any of extra expenses I had to pick up myself. But I want to kind of walk through what happened in Israel, why that's important to Tennesseans.
Well, I think that would be so appropriate this morning, and honestly, I'm all ears. I want to hear all about it.
So just to unpack this a little bit, Israel is on, of course, the easternmost side of the Mediterranean Sea, and it's the size of like New Jersey. And there's been a battle going on between what Israel is and what they call the Gaza Strips. And the Gaza Strip would be like 5.5 miles wide by 25 miles long. So a very small strip, but that's right out of the Mediterranean. And of course, about 2 years ago, they were attacked by Hamas out of there. There's about 2 million Palestinians that live in that small strip, and they've elected leaders, and the leaders are Hamas. And Hamas has made it very clear they want to destroy Israel. And you'll hear them say a lot, from the river to the seas, for like the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. They don't want Israel, the nation, the Jewish people involved at all. They would like to wipe them out. And so we went over to actually look at that, and we support them on a congressional level, on a federal level. We pay a lot of money to Israel, and we wanted to see what it was, why, and what it has to do with Tennessee. So we went over, and I'm going to tell you, we landed in Tel Aviv, and Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, we were both there. I'm going to tell you, walking around both cities, it was extremely safe. There was no danger. There was nothing. It was very, very, very safe. In fact, I would feel safer there than I do in Nashville, Tennessee sometimes. So very, very safe. when we got there, some of the things that we wanted to do, though, is see what it is, because you hear on the news that Israel's trying to commit genocide or something like that, or they're attacking. And I've talked to it's called the IDF, or their armed forces, and I've talked to those that were on duty, those that weren't on duty, and we actually got to go visit some of the sites that were invaded on October 7th. We talked to the residents there to kind of get a background of what's happening there. I can tell you that
was about 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago, October 7th. And this is what they're all saying. When they came in, they took the hostages, and there's still about 48 hostages left. They're not there for more war. They don't want more land. They don't want to eliminate anybody. They just want their hostages home. They feel right now most of them are dead, but there's 21 of them probably still alive, as best that they can tell. And they said, we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to search as far as we can until we get all of our hostages home. And they're very committed to doing that. Now, if I look at it, when we left Vietnam, we didn't do the same thing. We left people there. When we pulled out of Afghanistan, we didn't get all of our friends and allies out. We kind of left them. And Israel saying, we don't leave people behind. We are going to fight till we get to every single one of them. As soon as we get our hostages home, we're ready to have this thing done, just go back to our lives as normal. But we're not going to leave our people there. And so I was there, and I got up in the morning, and my wife called me and said, hey, they're invading. Israel, the news had said that we're invading, and we had the New York Times there, and literally on the front page at the hotel, it said that there's going to be this invasion. And so they brought me over, and they said, watch this. And they brought me right to Gaza. And so I was just maybe 1,500 yards away. I could see it. And they said, this is what we're doing. And they had a helicopter. And they said, we literally are bringing that helicopter in. They told us the time. They said, we told everybody there that we're going to do this. We told them this is the building we're going to bomb. There's tunnels underneath this building, and we're going to clear it out. We dropped leaflets. And they said we gave them all the time that necessary to clear out any civilians. So nobody was worried about this. And they said, now in about 3 minutes, you're going to see the missile go. And we watched the helicopter shoot it, brought down the building and destroyed the tunnels. And then, we seen the smoke, and we heard the sound and such, and said, that's what we're doing. But it's not like we're trying to invade anything. We're telling them we're going to destroy the tunnels. We're going to find wherever they are. And they said, unfortunately, Hamas will take some of the civilians and plant them there. And they say they forced them to go to those spots, even though they're going to be bombed. And the government saying, Israeli government saying, there's not much we can do. We're going to take out those tunnels. We have to. And we don't know if they're going to put somebody in there or not. But some of the bodies there are people that were forced to go into those positions. And they said, we can't do anything. Now, Israel right now, if we got to take a break, I'll come back to this.
Yeah, okay. We stay with us. We'll hear the conclusion of this story in a moment after a break on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. And it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SBL 75 compact track loader. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Wrapping up this wreck that's been out here for quite some time in Antioch, but it's in the eastbound lanes of I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Of course, the heaviest flows on the westbound side, and that's running slow and just unnecessary rubbernecking on 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. You got all that traffic in that area coming in right now from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. It's slow 65 south here at Trinity Lane. When you need dependable towing for your car or truck here in Middle Tennessee, call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at MyLebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
Cedar City RV, your destination for all things camping. Whether you're looking for travel trailers, fifth wheels, or anything in between, Cedar City RV has you covered. We proudly offer top brands like Forest River, Palomino, Rockwood, Coachman, and more. Plus, expert service after the sale to keep you on the road with confidence. Financing is available, making it easier than ever to start your next adventure. Visit us online at cedarcityrv.com or stop by our location at 1102 Sparta Pike in Lebanon to explore new and previously enjoyed models today.
Coleman and Company, Senator Mark Povey is here. We call this our Friday Center Report when you're here a couple of times a month, and we're glad to see you again. But back to your story. You were in Israel.
So literally, when we were watching that, and this is one of the spots that we were watching at, is when they were invaded October 7th, 2 years ago, and there was a mother there. And so we were talking to her as we were watching this helicopter go in. We said, what was it like when you all were invaded? She said, we had no idea what was going on. She said, but we all have safe houses, and she could literally see the Gaza Strip. I mean, we were watching it, and she said they just came over, drove through the desert to get here. We all locked ourselves into our safe houses, and they all have safe rooms. And they said they came in with the rifles trying to shoot the locks off and so forth. And she said, here's what happens is if they couldn't get in, they were burning a lot of the houses and burning the people alive. And she said, now they couldn't get into ours. But she said, so after that happened at 6:29 in the morning is when it started. At 7 o'clock is when the invasion actually started. 6:29 is when the missiles were shut off. But they had it so planned. They knew every single place that a police officer lived. They knew where the guns were. They knew everything. And they had snipers set around, and they were shooting the police officers as they're coming out of their houses. And they actually attacked some of the forts, not to try and take over the fort, the army forts that were there, but just to keep them held up for a little while so they could do as much damage as they possibly could. And I said, well, did y'all kind of fight back? They said the only thing that they were allowed to have is pistols. And she said, if you're in a gunfight for your very life, a pistol doesn't do much if they got AK-47s and such. But I said, so why do you live here? Why are you raising your kids when you could see this danger? And she said, we're Jewish. This is where we're supposed to be, and where else would we go? It's a small country, and they said there's not a lot of places we could go. She said, this is where my farm is. This is where we have to be. And I said, so what do you want to have happen? She said, we just want our soldiers home. We just want the hostages home, and we're done. We want to be done. And that was the reoccurring story every single time. So I got to meet with their prime minister, Nahu. I got to meet with their the head of the Knesset. I got to meet with their foreign minister and everybody. And we said, hey, we hear that you guys want to keep doing the war. And they said, look, we've got our own kids. Literally on the council, they were saying that we got our kids over in Gaza right now. We don't want them to be there. We want to get them home. We want this war over as quickly as we can. But we just want to make sure our hostages come home. So that was kind of our national thing. And there was one more thing. People say, well, we give Israel all this money, and why do we do it? But if we had to have a foreign base somewhere right in the hot spot of the Middle East, and we had an airport and an army base or whatever, we'd have to be paying that ourselves, and we'd have to be having American soldiers over there. Here, we don't. We literally have them doing it. They're fighting. It's their lives on the line, not American soldiers. So I think it's a really good investment for what we do in Israel. Now, how does that affect us in Tennessee? So one of the things is, of course, we're the Bible Belt in Tennessee, and Nashville is like the buckle of the belt, and there's a lot of tourism going back and forth. And we do a lot of Bibles, we do a lot of religious artifacts and such, and there's a lot of people that come from here going over there to visit. And tourism actually really low in Israel right now, which was ironic because they said normally there's lines to get into a lot of places that they had to go, but today you just almost walk into almost anywhere you want to go. But another thing they have is, we're talking about the Boring Company that's going to be putting roads in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So they were showing me a company in Israel. They said they can literally have a road that is electrified. So as you're driving an electric vehicle, you're you're charging your car as you're driving, which would work perfect for the Bullring company here. That means we don't have to have as big as batteries for those cars that are be in there, and they can do that at night to be charging, so it's not going to be using the electricity during the daytime, and so it would actually have a pretty good benefit for us here in Tennessee. So we're trying to make some of those connections. And something else they do is agriculture. Of course, agriculture is our number one industry in Tennessee, and they've got some, because they're all desert there, they've got some really unique ways that they're growing, and we can possibly do that to get a bigger yield for our crops here in Tennessee. So we're trying to make some partnerships going back and forth that way.
Well, this is almost like a fact-finding mission for you in a way.
It absolutely was. And I'm very glad that I went. We look at it as well. There's 10 million people in Israel. 8 million of them are basically Jewish. And we have 700,000 Americans there. 700,000 Americans live there. If we look at that, that's bigger than like Vermont, or that's bigger than Wyoming. It's almost the size of Alaska. There's almost as many people living in Israel that are Americans as there is in Alaska. Wow. And if we were to look at it, that would be enough for a congressional seat. I mean, that's how many people that are Americans that live there. But when we're in Israel, there was a lot of them. We've seen Palestinians, we've seen Muslims, and we've seen the Jewish, and a lot of them they were not arguing, fighting. There is just on the Gaza strips and the outside that they're trying to bomb and throw in.
Well, let's get back to this. You're there, and they're telling them ahead of time, and they do this because they want to destroy those tunnels, and all in the process of getting the hostages back. How long did this last, and what happened afterwards?
So 20 minutes later, it was done. I mean, they sent the bombs. It would hit exactly where they told them they would hit. It's done, and then they go on to the next investigator to try and find where Hamas is. They're trying to find out where they're holding the hostages. They're doing everything that they possibly can to just get their hostages home. They are not there to destroy the Gaza Strip. And this is what I met with the Prime Minister. That we literally, and they opened up questions. So they said, any questions you want to ask. They were there to open and openly talk to us. And they said, if we want to destroy Gaza, we have enough weapons that in less than 12 hours, the whole place would be leveled. There wouldn't be one building standing, because like I said, it's not that big of an area. They said, that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is just get our 48 hostages home. That's all we want to do. And we got to go keep fighting to find where they're hidden, where they are, to bring them home. And it's a cat and mouse game.
Well, it seems like everybody but the United States, to some degree or another, have don't agree with Israel. I mean, even England and a couple of other nations just recently, I think, did not go along with their idea about securing the hostages or something. I remember in the news they had some sort of an agreement which the United States did not go along with or agree with.
Sure, and it's kind of interesting when England did this, because if we look at history, God talked about this in Genesis when he was talking to Abraham. He said, this is the property and the land I'm going to give you. And it goes out and kind of spells that out in different places in the Old Testament. But when we go to the end of World War II, and the Jewish people, they needed a place to go. And England actually had control. And England's the one that said, we're going to give this property to you. They had control, and we said, we're going to let this be a country. So England's the one that said, we're letting you do it. Now they're the ones saying that we're going to change that deal from the 1940s till now. And Israel's saying, look, where else would we go? This is where we've been. Our history's been here. And if I look at all the countries around them, which are all basically Muslim countries, and the size of them are incredibly large compared to one little country, and they're saying they want to divide up our little tiny country when they've got so much land. If they want to make another state, they can somewhere else.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that Israel, because I had not exactly looked at it this way, that Israel is about the same size as the state of New Jersey.
Yep.
We all know about how big New Jersey is compared to the states around it, to the other states. It's a lot smaller than Texas and Alaska. It's just a little spot.
That's right. A lot smaller than Tennessee, so, it's almost like half the size of Tennessee. So, and
that's all they've got there.
That's all they got.
Yeah.
That is it. And Israel actually had control of the Gaza Strip, and Israel gave it to them and said to the Palestinians, you can have that, but they just want more. And Hamas said, that's not enough. We want to destroy you completely. And Israel saying, we want to live in peace with you. Just give us our hostages back and leave us alone. And I will tell you, Coleman, the lessons that they were learning are lessons that I think we in America need to learn as well, because when that invasion came on October 7th, 2 years ago, they were not expecting it. They were kind of lulled into a peace, and they literally had people that came in, and they were foreign individuals, Palestinians that came in, they did the work. If they worked in Gaza strips, they get about $150 a month. But if they work in Israel, they get about $1,500 a month. So 10 times the amount of money. And they're the ones that came in and spied out everything. And Israel said, well, they were just workers. They were just here to work. They were just here to come in and help us build. But it turns out that many of them were just spies. They're the ones that said, here's where the communication centers are. Here's where the military, here's their shifts. Here's how many people are on each shift. And Israel let them in and just as workers, but they turned out to be spies.
Well, Senator, we're in our last minute this morning. It's been interesting to hear about all of this. I'm so glad you got to go, and even more happy that you're here to tell us about it this morning. But thank you so much.
Well, and Coleman, this was a good meeting for us to have right now. I appreciate the time. I'm looking forward. I got Rhonda Webby coming for us in 3 weeks, so she's going to be here. But just a shout out to Gary Whitaker. I'm just going to tell you, he does so much in trying to make sure we got a good Christian, a good place here in Wilson County that we pray and take care of each other.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Senator Mark Pody, that's part one of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
It's been out here for quite a while on 24 eastbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Hopefully it's in its cleanup stages. You're able to get around it. It's just slow over in the westbound lanes with some unnecessary rubbernecking there on 24 westbound. There at Hickory Hollow Parkway, you got all that traffic arriving in that area now from Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. Starting a little bit heavier on I-40 here the last few minutes westbound as you come out of Wilson County into Hermitage. When you need dependable towing for your car or truck, call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Save time and money with a business account from Wilson Bank and Trust. Our great account benefits help you grow your business with online and mobile banking. No monthly fee for bill pay and low monthly balance requirements. You'll enjoy easier record keeping and tax reporting when you open a business account to keep your business expense separate from personal too. A business account helps preserve your personal liability protections from business obligations. Wilson Bank and Trust is here to get you there. Visit us at any of our 30 office locations across Tennessee or go online at wilsonbank.com. Member FDIC.
Your Lebanon High football team is back on the field, and we're back in the booth. Join Donald Gann, Joe Gardner, and myself, John Boyce, as the Blue Devils hit the gridiron each week. Lebanon football is brought to you by Bates Ford, Burdine Supply, Fakes and Hooker, Kay Maynard with State Farm Insurance, Kenny Salas and the Salas Realty Group, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Shannon Speck Electric, Sports World, Rackley Roofing Company, Wilson Bank and Trust, and Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell. This Friday, your Blue Devils will be hosting Wilson Central. Pre-game at 6:30, kickoff at 7.
We'll have mostly sunny and warm conditions again for today. Highs will be in the lower 80s. Clear and cooler for tonight. Lows in the lower 50s. And then mostly sunny again on Saturday. Highs in the mid 80s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us, and welcome to part two. Here on a Friday, it's time to welcome the CMD team of Exit Rocky Top Realty, and we do have a team this morning. You have to have two to have a team. Three can be a team, or four or five, but Our usual two representing Exit Rocky Top Realty, the C&D team, Miss Judy and Miss Medina. Judy Cox, Medina Hemmentola. The realtor
That's the first one.
The realtor of the year.
Realtor of the year.
I'll sit over and count them all. I make a few as we go along, but we get the job done, right?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Well, they are great people. They're located at 1330 West Main in Lebanon, and they're people you can trust. And one other thing is that somebody answers the phone 24/7.
That's
well,
right.
Miss Judy, get us going. This
I
morning.
think Medina's a one-man team some days. She just runs circles around me.
Well, you've taught her well.
Well,
That's right.
she can, like I say, she runs circles around me. I can't see how she does it all. But anyway, I know Elvis was talking about Cyber Month. So I thought it was a couple things. People, when they either sell a house or they buy a house, you get a lot of junk mail after you close on a house. That's just automatic. We don't know. I guess they have a way to see what deeds get posted or what sales get posted. But anyway, you start getting a lot of junk mail. And always people will get something that says, we're going to send you your brand new deed for your house. And you just need to send us $75. Sometimes it's $100. And we're going to be mailing out your new deed. Well, people, when you close, you don't get your new deed right then. The attorney's office will mail it to you, but people forget. And when they get this in the mail and they go, okay, and they write their money for $75 and send it in. And of course, they never get a deed. It's a scam. And because when you leave your closing attorney's office, you should owe no more money, period. That should be the end of it. And we try to tell people at the closing, if you get this letter, don't send money in. But people will do it all the time because they think, oh, I got to get a copy of my deed. And then also buyers want their copy. Well, they'll send it to the sellers and go, we want you to make sure that we've changed the deed over to the new people and got it out of your name. So send us $75 and we'll send you proof of that. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm sitting here with my mouth open, shaking my head. I never heard of that.
They
but
do it.
There's
all the
scams
time.
for nearly everything.
That's right. People come up with it, and they'll send you one that says, when you closed, they spelled your name wrong on the deed at the attorney's office. So to get it fixed, you got to send us $100, and we'll get that fixed for you. Yep. They come up with it's unbelievable what they send people when they sell a house, and a lot of, especially elderly, they get this, and used to you had to bring your deed with you when you sold a house. Well, see, now you don't have to do that anymore, and a lot of people don't realize that. They'll come bringing their deed in because it's always recorded at the courthouse. But they tell you they spelled their name wrong, and there's even one that says the attorney's office made a mistake, or your bank made a mistake when they gave your payoff to the attorney, and you really owe $250 more than what we told the attorney. So to clear out your loan, to make sure that's written off and paid in full, you need to send us that $250. And people will do it because they get scared. Oh, I want my title clear on my house. I've paid it off. So there's all kinds of scams like that when you sell a house and when you buy a house. So
well, if you've got a good realty team like the C&D team, just call them if you get a letter like that.
Well, that's what we tell people when we close, when we leave there. We always tell them, do not cancel your homeowner's insurance until that money is in your hand. Because, a lot of times you close, you're not getting your check till a little later that afternoon, or it's not gotten in the bank yet. We say, till you see the money in your bank, don't cancel your homeowner's insurance. And then we always tell them, if you get anything in the mail that says you owe anything, you call us. And a lot of times, because the taxes are already taken care of, property taxes, we do that when we close a deal. So that's taken care of with the seller. They don't ever have to worry. Well, if they get something, now the tax bills are going out, you might get a tax bill. And if you sold your house 3 months ago, you don't owe those taxes if you've closed. So we tell them, anything you need to pay, you call us before you pay anything, because 99% chance you're not going to be paying anything. So
yeah, well, keep that in mind.
So keep that in mind.
Medina, it is your turn. The realtor of the year.
The realtor of the year. And whenever you're
when you're looking for houses or you're wanting to see how much yours is worth, we always try to tell you that whenever we come to visit you at your house, to talk to you about that and a little bit of the process of how that goes. So we try to keep that foremost in the front of your brain, so that way you won't be taken advantage of, because even whenever your house is on the market, you're going to get a lot of junk mail about, hey, I'll buy your house for this, or I can buy your house with no showings and I can close it in 10 days and I'll give you an extra so many dollars if you do it now. So we always try to let people know there's scams out there everywhere. And if you have any questions, call us before you do anything. Right. So, but people make mistakes, and so, we're here to help them through that. So, anyway, but we have been two busy women this week. We have had closings. We're going to our third closing today, this week, and then we put a house on the market the first of the week on Terry Lane, and we had a contract within 24 hours of that one.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And so it's going through all the processes and all the steps. So that one's moving smoothly to another closing. So and we got another appointment today to go to one that is looking to put their house on the market. So we're busy, even though some people think the market has slowed down. It might have slowed down, but it's not slowed down and stopped. So people are still looking, and even with that interest rate drop of a little bit, the buyers are starting to move and saying, okay, I've got to do something before the end of the year, so this is the time. Mm-hmm. So give us a call for that, and if you're looking for like any land, a house with acreage, if you're looking for a condo, if you're looking out of Wilson County, give us a call. We can help you with any of that, and we're ready when you are.
Yeah. You've got it. Just give you a call.
That's right. We got it all under control.
615-443-3130 is the number.
That's
it. And Coleman, I wanted to mention the coat drive is going on until the end of October, and this is for the whole community. Chick-fil-A is partnering with Emmanuel Baptist Church to do the coat drive, and you can drop off coats slightly used or brand new at Castle Heights Avenue. There's a building right across from the church there.
Salt and Light Church.
The Salt and Light building. And if you drop off 3 coats, we give you a coupon for Chick-fil-A sandwich. Mm-hmm. So you have to bring 3 coats to get 1 coupon. Okay. So, but do that, and that's going on till the end of October. The goal is 2,000 coats. We got 1,500 last year, and we'd like to have 2,000. Then they will use those, spread them out to all over the community. So we want to make sure that people know that it's going on till October 31st.
And if you bring 12 coats, everybody has coats in their closet that they have not worn in years. They just don't want to get rid of it. And you have to bring 12 coats. You got dinner at Chick-fil-A. You got 4 sandwiches.
Y'all have a great one.
Thank you. And remember, Coleman.
Yes.
Remember, don't make a move without us, and call Realtor of the Year. Thank you.
Medina, Hemantola, Judy Cox, our C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty. We're about 20 minutes before the hour, and I have a trio of guests for part 2 this morning. And it is my pleasure to introduce them at this time. We have with us this morning Jimmy Pogue. Jimmy, good morning to you.
Thank you, sir.
And we have Diane Pogue. Diane,
good morning.
Good morning. As well as our other gentleman here is Deb Cannon. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
All right. We are going to be talking about the 4th annual Swing, Dance, and Dinner. And if this is something you're not familiar with, you're going to find out about it if you stay with us here. The CAF Music City Wing presents the 4th annual Swing, Dance, and Dinner, October 25th. And that's what we're here to talk about this morning. Now, who wants to get us started here?
I'll be glad to, Coleman. I'll talk about the dance, and then Jimmy and Dev will explain the reason why we have this dance in support of our mission.
All right.
With the CAF Music City Wing. We have the dance at the Lebanon Municipal Airport in the Aviators, and that's AV, the number 8, RS, Aviators Hangar. And 4 of our members with the CAF Music City Wing are gracious enough to let us use their large, beautiful hangar. They let us take their airplanes out of the hangar and their maintenance tools, and we move in and turn it into a huge party room. And
how long have you been doing this?
This is our fourth annual.
Okay, so you've had three previous.
We've had three previous, and we're very fortunate. The community comes out and supports us, and we have well over 200 folks in the hangar with us enjoying the evening. In the corners of the hangar, we spotlight airplanes. That's what an airport hangar's for. And two of the airplanes are what have been sent to us or awarded to us by the Commemorative Air Force. And our Dev and Jimmy are going to be able to speak in much more depth about our fantastic airplanes. The dance is to honor history and to go back to the 1940s era. During World War II, we have swing dancers and we have the Jazz Alliance Big Band. They've been with us. This is our fourth year they've been with us. They are 19-piece ensemble. It's comprised of business people and doctors and teachers, and they play the swing dance music, and then they transition into some more modern music. So we have people that are swing dancing, and then they convert into doing the electric slide when we get into our rock and roll and funky music.
Well, as I recall, some of the music from the 40s, in that time, we had, of course, Glenn Miller.
Yes.
His music is some of my favorites, honestly.
Absolutely, and that is
And similar music, I could have to think of a few of them, but we even used to have one called Les Brown and his Band of Renown.
Yes,
and there's a lot of others. So.
That is the music that they are playing for us, and they have vocalists that are there, and that leads us into our swing dance. Now, this year we're going to do something brand new. We are going to have lessons that will begin at 6 p.m., and those lessons are going to be led by Jocelyn Valencia, who has over 30 years of experience in the dance.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get to the other two gentlemen here, we're going to have to take a break and do that in about a minute. But let's talk about the tickets, because you've given me a flyer ahead of time here.
Yes.
Again, this is going to be in the hangar at the Lebanon Municipal Airport, and tickets for...
Tickets are now on sale for $75 per person. And you can get your ticket by going online at cafmusiccity.org.
Okay. Well, you do that, and we'll talk more about this after we come back from this break. This is Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota. Check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's heavy now, 24 westbound up through the Antioch area, coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County here up by Hickory Hollow Parkway. It's clear now over in the eastbound lanes where we had that crash at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Here's what we're seeing. Heavy traffic 65 southbound down through the Madison area. There at Briley Parkway, it's starting to build with more volume on I-40 as all that traffic comes in from Wilson County here into Hermitage. When you need dependable towing for your car or truck, call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Buying or selling a home can be a scary experience.
But it can be a beautiful one if you call Exit Rocky Top.
Don't get tricked. Call us for a real treat.
And remember, Boo says, don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
Everyday Fiestas offers party rentals on everything you need for your special event. Birthdays, weddings, corporate events, they have you covered. Tables, chairs, tents, linens, dance floor, and so much more. Visit their new showroom in Lebanon at 713 East Main Street in the old Ferguson's building. Find them every day at fiestas.com or on Facebook. Everyday Fiestas offers party rentals that can transform your vision into a beautiful reality. Mention this ad to receive 10 10% off.
And we welcome you to our final segment of Coleman and Company here on a Friday morning. We're featuring this morning a trio of Diane Pogue, who we're going to talk to a little bit more, and in a minute hear from Jimmy Pogue and from Dev Cannon. And it's all about the 4th annual Swing Dance and Dinner, October 25th at the Lebanon Municipal Airport. Now, Diane, a little bit more you've got for us here before we get to the other two.
Well, in addition to the great music of the Jazz Alliance Big Band and the swing dancing that people can participate in or just watch, we have Russ Lanham, who is local here to Lebanon. Russ is our caterer for our event. This year we're going to highlight his pulled pork, which is absolutely delicious. Russ was the co-host and producer of a TV program called Barbecue Country that was taped over at Fiddler's Grove. So we're very lucky to have Russ with us, and we just encourage people to come out and be with us, have a great night of music, fun, good food, fellowship, and all the net proceeds help us keep our aircraft and our mission going.
All right, and again, the tickets are $60 a person.
Tickets are $75. We had an early bird special.
I'm sorry.
That has expired. No, thank you for mentioning that. Our tickets now are $75 per person, and we have already sold over 200 tickets. Tickets are still available, so please come and join us.
What's the best way to get a ticket?
The best way is to go to our website, which is CAF Music City, all one word, cafmusiccity.org.
Okay. That's not too hard to remember. cafmusiccity.org.
Yes, and we're very visible on Facebook.
All right. Okay, let's talk to Jimmy Pogue and to Dev Cannon now, and the two of you can supplement what Diane has already done, and tell us a little bit more about your organization and about flying airplanes.
Absolutely. So, Diane's done a great job of setting this up. This is, her 4th year running it. I do want to highlight, we are limited seating, so there's only about 60 tickets left, I think, as of this morning.
Yes.
So definitely recommend if you want to come out, get some good food, good music, do some dancing, not to wait on getting those tickets. Dan talked about a little bit, this is a fundraiser for us to help keep these airplanes flying. These are 80-year-old airplanes, and take a lot of maintenance, take a lot of specialized care. But the great thing about that is the mission that they fulfill. So the Commemorative Air Force is the world's largest flying museum. We've got, I believe, 87 chapters right now across the globe. Lebanon is one of them. 187 aircraft in the fleet. Like Diane said, we've got 2 of the airplanes out at Lebanon. And this is an educational organization. So, it's a lot of fun. You go out to aviation museums, see the planes, all that. It's so much better. You get so much more out of it when you can see them flying, go ride in them, touch them, talk to the people that maintain them. And then we can, and by doing that, we can help introduce you to the fact that aviation is an attainable career for anybody. Mm-hmm. So, it's not just pilots. It's not something that somebody else can do. You can come out to the airport, find out about being a maintainer, join our cadet program, or bring your kids out to a cadet program, find out about all the different aviation career paths. So there's a lot of different missions that we're trying to fulfill.
Well, how did you get involved in this?
So, I got out of the Army, and I like airplanes. I said, airplanes are cool.
Okay.
And I was looking for a way to get into aviation, and there's a lot of different groups. And about 4 years ago, a little bit earlier than that now, I saw on Facebook that they were looking at setting up a Commemorative Air Force chapter in Lebanon. And I said, okay, I've seen some other planes before. That might be a fun way to get into aviation. So I had no aviation background before this. And I signed up, looked at kind of what needed to happen. They said they needed a development officer to help put events together. I said, okay, well, I can do that. So when I'm not at work, I'm talking to people about doing fly-ins, do stuff like that. And then for me, I was looking at it. So I draw 100% VA disability. And medically, a lot of people say, well, if you draw any disability, you can't be a pilot, you can't do anything in aviation. That's what I thought until I got in and started talking to people. And since then, since joining the CAF, I've gone and gotten my pilot's license. I'm getting experience working on airplanes. I'd like to get my A&P license so I can do that when I retire. So for me, it's a very personal story about the opportunities that CAF gives people because we can educate. We can show you what the options are. And I think it's really important, a really good way to show people that aviation is not something that only somebody else can do.
Yeah, right. Well, Jimmy, what's your story?
Well, my story is, and very similar to Dev's, just being around these old airplanes, keeping the history alive. We want to honor, educate, and inspire people. That's actually what our headquarters, the little sayings that we say is our official mission. And then just being around these old airplanes, flying in them. Our little PT-19 is an open cockpit, very similar to a Stearman, but it's one wing instead of two wings. And we do have a S&J Texan, which is an advanced trainer. It has a 600 horsepower radial engine. And a little ride in that is very nostalgic. They're a little different. They're all mechanical planes, very little electronics in there other than the radios and the transponders that we put in there. So just being around these old planes, and then we have other units that bring in also planes into Lebanon. On occasion, a P-51 Mustang, the DC-3 or the C-47, that's all brother that led the attack on D-Day that had 800 planes behind it. Actually comes in, they have refurbished this. You can go for a ride in it for like $300, something like that, which is a real treat. And just being around these aviators and just talking it up and just hanging out. They're interesting people. I came first for the airplanes, but I kind of like the people the best now.
Okay. Well, I think, Dev, your story. I mean, here. You've really found something else to do that is really intriguing to you, something you really like, and have advanced and didn't think you could in the beginning.
Yeah, and there's I hear when I go out and talk to people at these events, we're going to be supporting another event out in Crossville this weekend, and I go talk to people. They're like, "This is so cool! I wish I could do something, but I don't know how." I'm like, "Come do it." We want you to participate. We want you to come play with us.
Well, what's the best way to get in touch with you? Somebody, if even hearing us here this morning, their appetite gets whetted a little bit for some aviation activity, let's say.
So the easiest thing to do is when you go to our website to get your dance tickets, go and take a look at the calendar. We have all of the events that we support are on that. Our monthly meetings are on that. And then at the bottom of each page of the website is a contact us form. Fill that out, ask your questions. The emails come to me. It may take me a day or two to get back to you because I have a day job, but please ask your questions. We're happy to help, happy to get you involved.
Well, Jimmy, how long have you actually been doing this flying?
With this unit, I was here from the day one. We started in 2021. We had a couple of the execs coming from Dallas. They flew in on the Eisenhower Air Force One, a little prop job, not even a jet. So they came in and helped us to organize the unit in 2021. So I've been just kind of hanging around, helping where I can. They do have me now as a what we call a staff officer, as the adjutant, which is a military term for administrative assistant. So I try to assist Dev and my wife wherever I can. And then we have other officers. We have a maintenance guy, an operations guy, safety guy. So we're pretty organized, but yet we're not so organized that we're not having fun with it.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been flying?
Now, I do have a pilot's license. I've got low time. I was flying back in the 60s and 70s. I'm like 73 now, and I'm not really current. I'm dealing with an achy back. I don't sleep well at night, so I've grounded myself. I probably could pass a physical, but just going for a ride from time or two in these planes or a private plane, whatever. I mean, if you go out to the airport, somebody's probably going to take you for a plane ride eventually. Yeah. So.
Diane, you fly? Are you a pilot by any
no,
chance?
Sir.
No,
I am not a pilot. I'm very proud of the accomplishments of the wing. I just started hanging around with my husband. I wanted to see what he was interested in. And when Bruce Thomas, 4 years ago, came up with the idea of a swing dance, I said, I used to be an event planner for an insurance company. Maybe I can help you get some tables and chairs. And I've loved every moment of it.
Well, that's great. Well, if you joined us late, the CAF Music City Wing presents the 4th annual Swing Dance and Dinner. You've got still got time to prepare for this and be there on October 25th. Tickets available, $75 a person, and you can still purchase tickets while they last. I don't know what the limit is, but there is probably some kind of limit if you get enough, but you haven't reached it yet.
Yeah, no, we have not reached that limit. We probably have room for about 60 more people if they want to come out and join us.
And there'll be a cash bar, a photo booth, but really the music, the Jazz Alliance Big Band, and you talked a lot about that in the beginning here, but there'll be music from the 40s, but just take a minute and summarize that again, if you will.
Yes, the music is, of course, something that everybody can sit and enjoy, or they can get up on the dance floor and do the swing dances. Like I said, we're going to have instructions to begin with, so if you think you're a little rusty or you just want to learn how to do it, come at 6 o'clock for that. At 7 o'clock, we'll kick off the music and our dinner. And after the music of the 40s, after the band takes a couple of breaks, they may start into some rock and roll and some funk music, and you can go back to your 70s, into the 70s.
Yeah, well, you've got pretty much something for everybody as far as the music and the dancing goes.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that way you have no excuse.
No.
All right. Well, it's really been nice to hear about this morning. And again, to remind everybody, this is a fundraiser for this CAF Music City Wing. And we'll tell you again, the dinner is catered by Russ Lanham.
Russ Lanham, yes.
So I want to thank all of you for being with us this morning. Diane Pogue, thank you so much for being with us, as well as Jimmy Pogue. Nice to have you, and Dev Cannon. And we wish you a lot of success and hope this all goes well.
Thank you, sir.
That is going to do it for a Friday. Have a nice weekend, everybody. And until next time, I wish you a fantastic day.